Hi, my name's Iain Ness and I'm Head of Finance at the OSL Group. We're a UK manufacturer with sites in the North West, the Midlands and right here in South Yorkshire, and our products are sold into various industries including automotive, construction and security in countries all over the world. In this session we're going to think about the finances of your business. Much of this will build on what Vicky talked about in session 2 on selling and what Alex covered in session 3 on purchasing. The two key terms for today are profit and cash. Many of you will have heard of a profit and loss account, but might not know what one is or what it's used for. In its simplest sense, a profit and loss account, or a P&L, is a document which tells you what you've sold in a given time frame, what the costs associated with selling that product or service were, and ultimately whether you made a profit or a loss. Some businesses will look at this on just an annual basis, but most management teams will meet to review this information on a monthly basis. In some businesses this is weekly, and I've even worked in places where there was a daily meeting to review the previous day's financial performance. It's up to you and your team to decide how often you want to meet to review your financial performance. The document itself will also look different from one business to another. There'll be common themes, but it's important you make sure the individual sales and cost items you look at provide relevant information that you can use as a financial health check for your business and to track actions to improve the profitability of your business. For example, the many steel manufacturers that you'll see in Sheffield will use a lot of gas and electricity, so it's important for them to itemise this onto a separate line to review each month, whereas for a distribution business this might be less relevant. It's important for you to decide as a team what kind of information you need to get from your profit and loss account and how you'll use it to make better informed management decisions. In my opinion, one of the most helpful distinctions to make when it comes to the costs of running a business is to decide whether costs are fixed or variable. Variable costs are things which go up in proportion to the amount of products or services sold. An example from one of our businesses would be the steel which we buy to turn into cutting tools. The more cutting tools we manufacture, the more steel we'll use. An example of a fixed cost would be the rent that we pay on a building, as it remains the same each month regardless of the levels of sales activity. Not every business is immediately profitable, and this includes some well-known names that you'll have heard of. For example, Tesla, the electric car manufacturer, has taken a long time to reach profitability, but its many investors are convinced that its future profitability gives it a high degree of value. What's important to know is what your break-even point is, i.e. at what level of sales will you cover all of your costs, both the variable ones and the fixed ones. And almost as important as knowing what that point is knowing when you're going to reach it, because you're going to need cash to allow you to survive until you reach that point. Cash is not the same as profit, and ultimately it's a lack of cash which causes businesses to fail. Lack of cash, or access to borrow cash, is also often the biggest obstacle to growing. Even if you expect your business to be immediately profitable, some things you might need to consider are working capital and one-off investment costs that you might need. Working capital is the cash that you need to run your business day to day. The three key elements are stock, debtors, and creditors. If you have a product-based business, it's likely that you'll have to buy or manufacture stock in advance of being able to sell it to a customer. And your customer might expect that you to have this ready on the shelf for next day or even same day deliveries. Debtors. Your customers might pay cash, but larger customers will often expect to be given some time to pay their bills. For example, a fairly typical credit term in a business is end of month plus 60. What this means is that if I sell you a product today in December, I won't pay for it until the end of February. On the reverse of this, we have creditors. This is when you pay your suppliers. Now, if you're a small or a new business, your suppliers will often expect you to pay straight away in cash. But as you grow, or as you build a relationship with your suppliers, you might be able to negotiate credit terms with them so that, like with your customers, where you might have had to offer them those end of month plus 60 terms, you might be able to pay your suppliers after they've sent you the goods. So you'll see, even if your business is immediately profitable, you might need some cash available at the start to cover you from the point in time where you've paid your supplier for goods or services to the point in time when your customers pay you. In addition to this, from time to time, perhaps at the startup point of your business or at periods of significant growth, you might need or want to invest in new equipment, a new factory, or a new office. When it comes to sourcing cash like this, you'll either need a loan from a bank, or you might choose to sell a share of your company to an investor. The bank will expect to be paid back, and the investor will hope to share in the future profits of your business. So when the time comes to approach a bank or an investor for these kind of funds, to help to take your business to that next level of growth, it will really help your credibility if you've been using a robust mechanism to track and forecast sales, profit, and cash over these early years of your business. In its simplest form, this can just be a really well-maintained Excel spreadsheet. In fact, Ben Francis, who some of you might have heard of, the founder of the sportswear brand Gymshark, he cites Microsoft Excel as one of his top 5 apps. It's not the most exciting, but it's really useful. This information, tracked over a period of time, along with a really solid business time, will give those banks or investors confidence in your ability to repay loans or generate returns on their investment, and will help you to win that funding that will help you to grow your business.